movie monsters that are real.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Titanic. I'm your host, Alexa. Sometimes reality is stranger than fiction. Here are some of your favorite movie monsters. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notifications so you never miss an upload.
Flying snakes. If you ever wanted to kill one trial witness, most people wouldn't automatically go to the plan that involved releasing hundreds of snakes on a plane, but Hollywood did, so here we are, with an irrational fear of snakes with frequent flyer miles. And while everyone remembers Samuel L. Jackson's heroics, little credit was given to the legless nemesis who nearly brought down an entire plane of Hollywood B-listers. The snakes that have since given us even more reason to hate flying were a cast starring a Burmese python, a scarlet king snake, a safer stand-in for the poisonous coral snake, and a milk snake, with an ensemble cast of corn snakes, rattlesnakes, and mangrove snakes. The leading lady, Kitty, was a 19-foot Burmese python and not an LA native, but rather a local of jungles and grassy marshes of Southeast Asia. The Burmese python is one of the largest snakes on Earth. They can reach 23 feet and weigh 200 pounds. That's a lot of scaly, cold-blooded snake. Some of their most horrifying traits are being able to stay underwater for 30 minutes at a time and being excellent swimmers. So you're not safe on land, water, and now as Jackson has brought to our attention, you're not safe in the sky either. Jaws of death. Since Jaws, most people haven't been able to swim in a large pool, let alone wander into the ocean. Since 1975, there has been other shark-featuring horrors that have left the same effect on its viewing. In fact, the trailer alone is usually enough to put you off taking a dip. The truth is, there have been seasons where a single or a population of sharks have terrorized a particular area. The incidents have closed the beaches, led to extreme measures, and seen the addition of shark nets or other deterrents. So this isn't just some Steven Spielberg hype. The Feast of the Giant Man-Eaters is a true story.
But in reality, the chances of being attacked by a shark, nay, even bumping into one while you swim, is so minuscule that it really isn't a threat. Of the billions of people swimming in the sea daily, there's only an average of 100 shark attacks around the world each year, and very few are fatal.
Research has proved that sharks are naturally very curious creatures. They don't exactly have dexterous appendages to poke at something they're not sure of, so it takes a little nibble, as scientists say, a sample bite, and then they generally release their victims. Most of us prefer not to be bit at all though, so that's not really a major comfort. What it proves is that they aren't the savage people hunters the movies make them out to be, and don't have an insatiable taste for human blood. They do, however, make the sound da-dun, da-dun, while swimming, and well, that's just science. Genetically modified sheep. Forget werewolves in sheep's clothing. There's a new terror in town: sheep becoming werewolves, or more accurately, were-sheep. These fluffy and lovable blood-sucking bleeders are the plot of the New Zealand spoof horror Black Sheep. That grossed an impressive $4.9 million at the box office, and until you see this film, sheep might not have seemed out of the bounds of your nightmares. The last time they have any place in your dream life is probably counting them to nod off. But if you look at the makeup of sheep, these even-toed ungulates have a few horrors of their own, were-sheep traits aside. Firstly, their eyes are literally slits. It's gross. How can you trust someone that literally gives you the side eye all the time? We don't care that the elongated pupil is more practical for allowing light into the eye. It's creepy. Sheep's hooves are cloven. That means split in two, and you know who else is rumored to have cloven feet? Well, let's just say he's red and lives in a really hot place. Then the male's horns can grow huge and curling. They use them, like their cousins, the goats, for ramming each other in mating season, but also for protection. Think of the running of the bulls industry next time you head towards a fluffy sheep at the petting zoo. What's most disturbing is the genetically adapted wild sheep, carved by the harsh environment that turned it into a monster-sized sheep. The wild sheep species can grow to heights of 4.1 feet and measure 6 feet long. The largest of them is the Argali sheep of Central Asia, a rock-hopping, horn-ramming, side-eyed wunderbar just roaming around willy-nilly in the world. Good luck out there. Organized rats. Many movies have depicted rats as becoming organized communities that instill fear and possibly even take over the world. And if you have seen the rat populations in big cities, it doesn't really seem like a far-fetched notion. We all have seen Pizza Rat. He's probably the ringleader. Sure, urban rats aren't quite like the 2003 horror film Willard, which is about a savant rat that leads an army of rat delinquents, but they're still pretty organized in their survival and highly intelligent, so we can't rule out rat domination just yet. One of the big reasons rats have advantages is their sheer number. They breed with radical speed. Every 3 weeks, they're fertile. Their pregnancy is 3 weeks long, and they have between 6 and 20 babies at a time. They can breed every 3 weeks from 5 weeks of age up to 2 years old. So they have the numbers, but they also have the size. The average rat is around 20 inches long and weighs 12 ounces. That's a lot of rat. But the biggest rat ever found was the Bosavi woolly rat, a species only discovered in 2009. It reaches more than 32 inches long and weighs a horrifying 3 pounds. Crocodile Tears. A 1970s movie featured the true story of Sweetheart, one of the most feared crocs in history. Sweetheart was a giant male saltwater crocodile that terrorized a community of fishermen by attacking their boats, but never attacking humans themselves.
In reality, saltwater crocodiles are one of the most dangerous animals on the planet, claiming 1,000 human victims a year. They grow to massive sizes, up to 6.17 meters, over 20 feet, and have been found weighing more than a ton.
These big beasts are real softies, or it might appear so because crocodiles are always crying crocodile tears, but there's more to it than being in touch with their feelings. While they eat, they swallow a lot of air. The air affects the lacrimal glands. Those are the glands responsible for producing tears. The pressure stimulates tears, but rather insincere ones. So next time you see a croc crying, tell him to cry you a river, because, well, he might actually. Piranhas, IRL. As if seeing piranhas play out in 3D in 2010 wasn't enough, they got more real in 2012 with the movie Piranha 3DD. And spoiler alert, the piranhas wreaked havoc wherever they went, tearing up any human that got into their path, leaving no trace behind. The South American fish is truly whipped into a feeding frenzy in a group. That much is true. And they do have razor-sharp teeth that make light work of their prey, but it's not entirely true that they're all savage carnivores. Many species of piranha are vegetarian. One thing we hadn't banked on and possibly wish we could forget is how big piranhas get. They can reach 2 feet in size, and they also breed prolifically, laying thousands of eggs at a time. Worst of all, they live up to 8 years, so imagine the population explosion if they're left to their own devices. King of the Apes. King Kong is a hard one because although completely terrifying, there are a lot of human traits that you can't help but endure. And his final takedown mostly has people torn up about the injustice of it all for the tragic anti-hero King Kong. The truth of the matter is, King Kong is not a far cry from the truth, as gorillas really are massive primates. They have close-knit social interactions that reflect human emotions. Males stand up to 1.8 meters tall, but their sheer muscular body weighs far greater than the average male at about 165 kilograms, 363 pounds. Their 2.5 meter arm span shows their ape-like disproportion that humans dropped when we left the trees. The King of the Apes packs a massive punch, up to 10 times stronger than an average human. This gives gorillas the power to tear down a banana tree or bite with the force double that of a lion. In 2020, King Kong will battle it out in a crossover sequel against Godzilla, but thank goodness we don't really have Godzilla to worry about. Or do we? KDOJAK killers. Movies like The Revenant show the real power and terror of wrestling with your own mortality. When Leonardo DiCaprio wrestles with a bear in one of the most intense movie sequences of the 2016 film season, it's like a horror you can't look away from. But if you really stumbled into a Kodiak bear in the wild, best you keep your eyes on your opponent and try to anticipate his next move. Also known as the Alaskan brown bear, the Kodiak takes the title for top 2 largest bears alive, a position it shares with the polar bear.
In case the thought of wrestling a bear didn't strike fear into you already, Kodiaks weigh up to 1,200 pounds. During the warmer months, the male's weight can increase by more than 50%. Bears live around 20 to 25 years, so you can just imagine the staying alive experience they acquire during that time.
Don't free Willy. Free Willy made us all fall in love with the killer whale and helped us pretty much forget that it literally has the word killer in its name. But then there was also the lesser-known horror movie Orca. This will bring you right back to reality on what a monster the killer whale really is. The story is about an obsessive whaler and an angry killer whale that have a mutual revenge pact that takes them to the frozen northern waters. It's Moby Dick meets Jaws, and you won't be jonesing to free an orca like Willy anymore. The orca makes the perfect movie monster because in real life, he is one of the most feared apex hunters in the ocean. They're the top ocean predator on the planet, and they take the title due to a combination of intelligence and pure power. They have developed this lethal combination over time and have perfected it for 11 million years. They are the largest dolphin species, making them a marine mammal, not a fish. Compared to some land objects, on average, they weigh up to 6 tons and are 16 to 30 feet long. That's up to 9 meters. That is a mega marine monster.
Which of these monsters would you be the most frightened to encounter? For me, it's got to be killer whales, no contest. But let me know in the comments below.
1. Hug of death. The Amazon is not for crybabies, but when you realize you're in the midst of a giant anaconda, we think you will be forgiven for shedding a few tears. Nothing must strike fear in you like a giant anaconda rearing its head before it wraps itself around you and squeezes the breath out of you, and then swallows you whole. But that's exactly what this monster does on and off screen. The anaconda has adapted to be an apex hunter that reaches 25 feet long and over 200 pounds on the scale. They have plenty of tricks up their slimy sleeves, such as the ability to remain submerged for 10 minutes at a time, scaring the figurative life out of its prey before it squeezes the literal life out of them. Probably the most monstrous trait the anaconda possesses is giving birth to live young. At full term, over 30 fully formed anaconda youngsters wriggle right out of their mother, ready to spread fear. That must be the most horrifying sight to behold, although I don't think many have stuck around long enough to witness it.